I was raised Catholic, but I've been Buddhist for pretty much my entire life. It all started with one question. Mom, if God created animals for us to eat, I'm an animal lover, how come they try to run away when we try to eat them? She couldn't answer that. She said, shut up and eat your chicken. From the age of 14 to the age of 29, I was pretty much a Buddhist. I mean, I didn't shave my head or go vegan because you kind of only get the full package if you do that, but I'm pretty much Buddhist. There's a saying in Vietnamese, all life is equal. Part of the whole why I name all my animals human names, like Stanley and Alan and Katie. I do treat them like they're my siblings or my kids. Back when I was 21 years of age, I was in love with this girl. She was not in love with me. She didn't even respect me. On top of that, she was taking naps all over town with every guy but me. I'm saying taking naps because this is YouTube and I can't say a lot of things, you know. And when it didn't work out, because of course it didn't, I got cripplingly depressed and I drank every single day for about a month and a half. On top of that, the drinking and the Asian food had destroyed my stomach. It ripped a hole in my stomach. I had a lifelong ulcer. I just didn't know it yet. And my ulcer is still there, but it was really acting up with the spicy food and the alcohol. They rushed me to the hospital because I was pale white. In the emergency room, the nurse saw me and said, hey, we need to get you ahead of everybody else. You look like you're about to, word I can't say on YouTube. They had me in the emergency room, hooked up to everything. They measured all my levels. They realized I was bleeding internally, but they didn't know from where, and the doctors couldn't find it. They did so many endoscopies and colonoscopies on me, and they just couldn't find where I was bleeding from. They gave me medication to coat my stomach, on top of a bunch of vitamins because I was deficient in a lot of vitamins. I didn't have the healthiest of diet, if you know what I mean. I was in the hospital for a month. They kept giving me blood transfusions and vitamins and hospital food, which is gross by the way. Unfortunately, they couldn't find where I was bleeding from, and they can't just keep giving you blood transfusions. Other people need that blood too. It got to a point about 29 days in where the doctor came in and he said, hey man, he was basically saying you should probably write a eulogy, but he said, hey man, we can't find where you're bleeding from and we can't just keep giving you blood transfusions. You might want to contact your family, which is a polite way to say buy a coffin. It got to a point where they sent in a priest to, talk to me in quotations. The priest came in and said, I understand you're not doing well. And then I said, yeah, I've had better days. Me and the priest talked for about 5 minutes and he said, would you like to pray with me? As a Buddhist, I was skeptical. I mean, still Buddhist, still identify as Buddhist, still wear Buddha stuff, still have a Buddha tattoo on my shoulders. Honestly, as a 30-something-year-old, I don't know what I identify as anymore. Because when things get bad, I prayed to the man upstairs. He held my hand and started praying. Heavenly Father, something, I forgot. It was a really long time ago. It's been like almost 15 years now. But something weird happened that day. I don't know how to describe that moment. I swear the room got slightly brighter. Not by a lot, not noticeably, but there was definitely something in the room with us. The best way I could describe what happened in that moment is if you made a humming sound with your face. Like if you go, and do you feel that vibration in your head? I felt that. The whole room felt like that. That night, I cried more than I ever cried in my entire life. Not only that I got the news that it was almost over, but that I was also never gonna see a girl named Layla again. Layla was a longtime friend of mine. I was her best friend at the time, and she had no idea I was about to leave. The next day, they measured my hemoglobin and took all the tests and realized I had stopped bleeding. Whatever happened the night before had caused me to stop bleeding. I'm pretty sure it wasn't the crying, but that was the first time in my entire life where I felt God was there with me. I had strayed from the faith I was born into. My mom was a practicing Christian. I donated a lot of blood back then, but something said, because you donated blood, you've bought yourself back some time. I wasn't a very nice person in my early 20s because I had a rough childhood, but that's the thing. God doesn't punish, He teaches. He guides you down the path of wisdom. Someday He's gonna welcome you into His home, but He's not gonna let you in if you're gonna screw things up. You're on this rock to pursue wisdom. Hey, did you guys ever seen that episode of Futurama? I like to think God was speaking to us through the writers. I mean, who made the writer right? Also, if you're hearing voices, trust me, it's not God. God doesn't talk like that. These are thoughts in your mind. The man upstairs speaks to us through thoughts and epiphanies. If you have a profound thought, that's him at work. So in the episode of Futurama, Bender met God, and God said something that I really like. He said, if I help them too much, they become reliant. If I don't help them enough, they stray from their faith. You have to use a subtle touch, and if you've done everything everything right, it'll be as if you've done nothing at all. Super profound, right? I really like it. And now at the age of 30 something, I'm in a weird place because I like the Buddhist philosophies and ideas. But Buddha himself literally said, I don't know anything about the afterlife. I'm just teaching you how to be a better person. A couple of times a week, I'll find myself having a really hard time because life could be rough sometimes. And then I'll pray and then I'll feel better or something will happen. So if you're in a rough place in your life, not to get too preachy, try praying. You never know, you know?